But I feel cheated because he said the country smell like garbage. When we say we clean and green, how can we smell like garbage?
He smell like garbage, bruh. My country smell great. Hello, welcome everybody to episode 2 of We Need to Talk. I'm Krish, this Elisha, that's Astley, and that's Xuan. And today we need to talk about...
Is Singapore fake? Like Singapore, like a fake,
fake.
A fake country. Like, do we feel like a fake nation? I'm bringing it up because like a while back, I think there was an AsiaOne article about this Romanian tourist that came to Singapore, right? Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he had a lot of nasty things to say, but I think one of the things that jumped out at me a lot was like he said that they, meaning Singapore, like pretend like they have a effing clean country, but actually it's dirty as right?
Yeah.
So he showed us like the video.
Nice. Yeah.
He showed us the video of like the Singapore River, and it was brown lah. It was like not like what you would expect a river to look like lah. It's like look like Milo ah. So it made me think lah, like, is it fake ah? Are we fake? Are we going around pretending like, oh yeah, we are clean and green, but actually?
Wait, it was a river or it was a drain?
It's a river. Singapore River.
It was the
Singapore
drain.
River, the one that was mass clean long time ago, but then now everything got reversed and it's back to being dirty as
You don't think that our river is dirty? You don't think that it's like
Yo.
it's like Milo ah?
Yeah.
But they all look like.
All rivers look like Milo.
No.
That's true.
Huh?
No, I don't
A
think
lot
that's
of
true.
rivers look like Milo.
No, I don't
In
think
where?
that's true.
In Singapore?
No lah, no, Singapore only got one river. Singapore River. That's the one that looks like Milo.
But you're saying that there's no such thing as a clean river. Don't have lah, a lot lah.
As in,
overseas
I think a lot of rivers overseas are also brown because of like naturally rivers tend to be brown.
It's because we get a lot of rain.
They said part of the reason why it's brown is because of like dirt and mud runoff
Yeah.
into the water.
Yeah.
It made me think like are we like a bit of a fake country where we pretend like oh it's like clean and green, but no it's cleaned and then we planted the green.
I mean, I think a lot of Singapore is the river at least is very littered, right? Like when we were talking about what to talk about for this episode, I remember walking by the river and I said, I just literally looked at one spot of the river and it was just filled with.
I saw the picture.
It was just filled with rubbish. I feel like we litter a lot.
Yeah, but so we're not clean and green lah. We just say that we are.
I mean, we're clean and green to an extent. I mean, we can't deny that Singapore's not like a garden city. It is, right? I mean, there's a lot of like nature that's integrated into our architecture lah. Got like, a lot of gardens and like pretty spaces that are green in Singapore. No meh?
Yeah, and I think like that's really important because it shapes the way the whole city looks, right?
I think Singapore is clean and green when they have time and space to make that particular space nice and curated.
But is that wrong to have kind of curated spaces because we're not naturally a very like green country. I mean, you're trying to balance greenness with like moving forward and being like the hub that we are. Yeah. And I feel like in doing that, I think we're doing a really good job in being clean and green. We're creating new buildings, we're building stuff, but we're also trying to integrate the environment and greenness and plants into it.
I don't think it's wrong. I think that you need to admit that there's a kind of curation going on, and that's why the question, right, is Singapore fake?
Is it fake?
Like people, they come to Singapore, their impression is, like what they see on Crazy Rich Asians or like on TikTok right now. On TikTok right now.
Seen it.
No, there was a woman who said like, oh, I'm finally coming to Singapore to work, and then I prepared myself because I watched Crazy Rich Asians, and then I realized nobody dresses like that. Oh, and then I have a German friend who recently came to Singapore, and then she said there was a program in Germany called Emma's Chat Room, and then there were a lot of Singaporean dancers, and her impression is that Singapore, the only thing that's lacking in Singapore is flying cars. So like very scientifically advanced and everything.
Yeah.
Like she thought Singapore is like that.
Didn't they film some kind of Netflix TV show that was supposed to be set in the future?
Westworld.
Yeah.
Westworld film Elisha what?
Yeah, because I totally see that. Like,
crazy.
there's a lot of aspects of Singapore that are very futuristic.
Yeah.
But do you think that the highly curatedness of some spaces creates this like huge dichotomy between people, like expats and locals? Like their impression of Singapore is like super different.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I had expat friends who came to study, they came to get their masters in Singapore. And then it was like the week before they left, they asked me and my boyfriend to take them to get some souvenirs to bring home to their family. So we took them to Joo Chat, and they'd been living here for like a year, maybe 2 years. And they were like, wow, this doesn't even look like Singapore. And we were like, this is Joo Chat, you know, like the typical, like all the what are they called? The
Shop houses.
Shop houses and all those like the Quay stores and things like that. It was like pretty typical Singapore. And we were like, no, actually, this is what Singapore looks like. You guys lived in like River Valley and like went to school on Orchard Road. Like what you saw of Singapore is the curated part, I guess, right? And then Joo Chat is like actually the heartland.
Yeah.
Like is what Singapore actually looks like.
So it's not about whether or not it's fake, it's that's part and parcel of like the branding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are other ways that Singapore can sometimes feel a little bit fake. Like a lot of the parts of our island, not real one, it's all reclaimed, right?
Yeah, like Sentosa is like a good portion of Sentosa. It's not actually sand from Singapore.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah, the land is all reclaimed. Actually, Gardens by the Bay as well, right? Like the whole Flower Dome area is all reclaimed.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like 2 fake waterfalls. You know what I mean?
We got two.
We got 2 fake waterfalls. Yeah, one is at not Flower Dome, Cloud Forest.
Okay.
That's
okay,
a
okay.
man-made waterfall. Then Jewel, the world's biggest indoor waterfall. That is also
It's the world's biggest
man-made,
indoor
clearly
waterfall.
fake, right? Yeah.
So what I feel really sad that what Singapore is known for, a lot of the attractions that Singapore is known for, we actually created it out of thin air. Like it's not like,
No,
you,
that's-
you know,
It's not
like,
legit like
They didn't exist when we
Singaporean.
were kids. Like the attractions we've listed, like they didn't exist 10, 15
Correct.
years ago.
So my question is, right, if someone says, okay, give me the very super Singaporean experience, bring me around, where will you bring them to? Because if they Google this, the sites will be like Gardens by the
Gardens
Bay,
by the Bay.
Singapore
Yeah.
Zoo,
Yeah.
Jewel, blah, blah, blah. But like you said, it didn't exist
Yeah.
when we were growing up.
But that's like other countries also, right? When you go on a holiday, you always kind of look for like the authentic experience, and you don't want to get almost tricked into going to all these tourist traps, right? So you always like ask locals, or like, you know, you try and find like the real places in whatever country you're going to. So I think Singapore has that too, right? If you Google, then obviously you're going to get your main tourist attractions. But then if you ask a local, then we'll probably bring you to Joo Chat.
Do we have an attraction that's really typically Singaporean?
Like I think last time in the past we had the Thieves Market at Sungai Road.
Oh yeah!
That was nice.
That was pretty cool, right? Because you can go there and you can buy things that are potentially stolen. But they cleared it. They cleared the Sungai Road Market. I think they want to build an MRT.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is kind of part of why Singapore has this kind of fake problem.
Because we keep building new things.
Because we keep building new things. Because like we keep taking apart the old ones and then we build something new, right? And then like the thing that we just built previously doesn't really have that much time to accumulate that sort of history.
Yeah.
Then we clear it and we build something else. So it always feels like everything is always new.
And some of these new things, I also think is for the better, you know. Like when they're building all these new buildings, a lot of them are very eco-friendly. They're trying to like, you know, really integrate greenery into their buildings, and I think it's actually for an environmental reason that they do it as well.
I also heard like some filmmakers tell me that like Singapore's landscape, right, is super ugly to film. Like it just like lacks character, lacks color, right? And like shout out to the guy behind the cam. They love filming overseas because the buildings kind of all look the same. And then when you go to the heartlands, right, the HDB kind of all look the same.
I've told that to the director of Crazy Rich Asians. They might reconsider.
Yeah, but because the urban planning, I think they can assign a certain kind of color scheme, even in the CBD. So then the CBD buildings, they all kind of look the same. That scares me, you know? You want to make, like, you talk about downtown line, then there's now like the Thomson line or whatever.
got a
Like,
lot more, 2 others
so
coming.
many lines, and then they try to samey-fy things. Like every heartland has this.
Every
Every
heartland has a
neighborhood,
mall,
yeah. Every
everyone has a
neighborhood,
Sheng Siong.
yeah, correct. So samey, oh. You don't have to travel out of your heartland to get things that you want.
That's a good thing.
I mean, it's good for like living and enjoying, but like,
Well, you think it makes us lose personality?
yeah, like lose the kind of character and quirks of Singapore.
Actually, about the whole like every like neighborhood got a mall thing, I feel like it's something that we won't really think about until like we become like parents. Sounds a bit of a stretch lah, but like, I think one of my married friends who mentioned to me, because I think I was like, you know, bemoaning like, oh, Singapore everywhere is like you go to a mall. Then he was like telling me, yeah, but like, you know, as parents, a mall is great. So after work, like both of us like dual income, right? So after work, we can just drop by the mall, pick up dinner, pick up all the things that we need, and go back in one-stop shop. So yeah, like, it makes life more convenient, but like, I guess Xuan is right, at what cost?
Are we losing our quirks?
Progress at what cost, right? We keep progressing, updating. What are we sacrificing?
Yeah. I mean, okay, question. Are we being a little pretentious by being like, oh, like Singapore is evolving so fast and we're losing so much of our heritage? All my memories in primary school, all my best memories are playing at street soccer court, going to West Mall, right? Those were the things that I did. That street soccer court, both of them are still there. The mall is so much part of my childhood experience. I'm trying to say that maybe malls is the Singaporean experience.
Yes, I think that
It's us.
I think
that's our culture, right?
I think that we're definitely being pretentious. We're in a podcast, but I think you're right, because like we make it sound like malls are not organic, right?
Yeah.
But like when you grew up, wasn't that a favorite part of West Mall that you and your friends always go?
Yeah, it's still there.
What? What is it?
Is Time Zone still there?
Time Zone?
See, Time Zone is also getting wiped out. Like,
I'm not gonna count
is
more
it?
or whatever, right?
Soon,
Yeah. Like honestly, the biggest like shift in Singaporean architecture or buildings or whatever that's affected me the most emotionally, right, is my house. Last time got a lot of drains. Now they covered up all the drains. And that really hurt me because when I was a kid, I used to climb inside the drains and play. Like with my friends, we'd climb inside the drain, go and catch the rat, catch the lizard.
You guys ever catch
the frog,
anything?
Catch the frog. The frog. The rat a bit scary. We pretend to want to catch, but it's bad. So like, you know, there's a lot of like, we play in the neighborhood, we climb in the drains. Now all the drains are covered. So you don't see kids playing on the road anymore in my neighborhood. Fuyong Estate, shout out. So like, you don't see them anymore.
Is
Probably a good thing.
Is it you don't see kids playing in those drains anymore because they covered it up? Or they covered up because there were no kids playing in those drains?
I think they covered it up to make it look
Supply
like
and
pretty.
demand, right?
No, I think it's not that. They also never even play football on the streets anymore, like literally on the roads in the neighborhood.
see, that's the thing about curated Singapore. They cover yours up, right? No more rats and everything, right? Rats everywhere in Geylang still.
Yeah lah, it's Geylang. You want to go back to Geylang, of course.
I think it's the updating that is kind of the problem. To me, like, at least, because like, it's not about whether or not the mall is real or the mall is fake. If let's say I had childhood memories at this particular mall, 20 years later it's rebranded into another mall, then I also wipe out all the memories that I created from that mall period, you know, when I was young, going there, drink bubble tea before tuition, that kind of thing, right? So it's not really about like, oh, it's not just specifically, illegal shrine gets removed, and yeah, obviously it's like culture getting wiped out. But even just updating a mall or updating any common space, any common area, you can't make people feel like, oh, I used to go there to do that then.
Yeah.
But are they updating because they want to progress? Because if they want to progress and they update, then why are they not updating other places?
Like what, Geylang?
Not just Geylang, but like the Chinatown alleyways, or like Juqiat alleyways. Clean up those places. Like you talk about progress. No, they are constantly only progressing a few places.
Yeah, give it time. Few places at a go. And I feel like, you know what I mean? So maybe 20 years time, then you're going to get all these places cleaned up too.
Cannot, because you cannot clean up Chinatown, then you lose the Chinatown Heritage Center, heritage vibe already, right?
Yeah, actually,
You
that's
go and
true.
renovate, then like-
maybe it's based on the STB KPIs, right?
The rats are part of the culture.
Yeah.
If you get rid of the rats, then it loses
Yeah,
that flavor.
I think so. So I think that's how they're being selective. No tourist is going to come to Fuyong Estate to go see
Yeah, he's right.
Who says?
Because growing up, I never see a single damn tourist. After they cover the drains, also no tourists.
What if Elisha's friends say to Elisha like, "Oh, bring me for a typical Singaporean experience"? Then Fuyong Estate.
The real thing.
The one that's now like a crazy nature walk. Yeah, back then there was a train running. So I mean, we used to sneak in. It was like climbing into the jungle. But now it's like, it's open and everyone can go. I feel like sometimes these places are curated and the result is quite pleasant. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Pasir Ris before. So near the MRT, right, if you go to some of the red color blocks in Pasir Ris, you have to walk through the mangrove.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's the mangrove area that's at Pasir Ris, and you walk through it and there are like actual bridges that have been built. It's integrated such that we can walk through and see, it's damn nice. It's just like 20 minutes before you reach the MRT, it's a 20-minute walk from the MRT. You're walking through mangroves. and there's something very, and it's right next to the housing, right next to the HDB. So I feel like there are certain instances where these natural spaces are curated or designed in a way that it's integrated into our lives, but actually it adds a lot of flavor. It's nice.
There's luck of the draw already, right?
Well, some places can the bed upgrades. Some like BKE, they made the park connector so the animals can cross over. I thought that was great. That's a really cool.
But never get to see though.
The animals cross over.
Yeah.
So by the way, Astley loves pangolins, right?
Yeah,
and
I do love pangolins.
And I saw a pangolin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I saw a pangolin.
He brings her every chance he gets.
Yeah, it's so cute, and I think it's because of that bridge. So that I researched it after, and they were saying that the bridge allows for pangolins and these endangered animals to move freely. So in my Hillview area, I would not have seen the pangolin if not for that.
For the bridge.
For that bridge.
No, I think you're right for sure. I think there's always gonna be like, oh, you build certain things and it's great. It's just more like is the at what cost question, or it really is the at what cost question.
If I had a choice over whether or not to cover up the drains or not, I would have said no.
Because there were not enough kids playing there.
But I feel like we have a say. I feel like people will, if maybe less so open-ended. If I say, what do you want to be built here? Maybe it's harder to have an answer. But if it's like option A or option B,
oh, got lah.
I feel like then people will feel like they can influence their space. What?
Have you all seen the what color you want your block to be under the block?
Yes,
you get to pick which color you want.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that before, right?
No, but a year ago, I live opposite Clementi Woods Park, and they released a survey to the area of all the residents living around Clementi Woods Park. They're like, oh, we're upgrading Clementi Woods Park. What do you want to see upgraded? Like, would you like more playgrounds? Would you like signage about the different plants? Would you like more exercise spaces? Would you like a running path or a cycling path? Or would you like to see more diversity in flowers? Like, there was like a bunch of options, and it was like a simple survey. You just like click whichever ones you would like to see inside the park, and then you like press submit.
Which one do you pick?
I can't remember.
What GRC did? Was running?
West Coast GRC. Yeah. So it's like, oh, that's like I don't know how much they take that into consideration, but they're asking like, what does the community want to see in their neighborhood?
That's really nice.
No, I feel like they always do, to be honest.
But why are people still unhappy? Why is our happiness index so low still?
They fight with
There's
their
a lot of
mom,
other
they fight with their
things.
wife, they fight with their
They
family
fire from their
members.
job, they lose their computer
Oh,
games.
really?
We can't everything turn to the country and say, oh, I'm unhappy because of the country, what?
But I feel like the fakeness, the fakeness in these kind of like Smile More campaign, kindness movement, I think that's fake. I think that it's our attempt at trying to like curate personality and manufacture like an identity of like, manufacture happiness. That's essentially what those campaigns try and do, I think. And like courtesy cat, what's the courtesy cat called?
Oh, I think I don't
Courtesy lion.
Singer the
So
lion.
courtesy lion. Like you have a mascot for courtesy. I think that's a problem.
You also don't like all the mascots on the train, right? Sit down, Sally.
I mean,
Oh, I love Back Down Benny.
yeah, I
Is
think
it Back Down
Benny and I are quite chill with each other, but the rest a bit annoying.
Who else was there? Who else is there other than Back Down Benny?
Something Felix, right?
Stand Up Stacey.
Yes, Dan
Stella,
Stacey.
Stacey.
What do you have against our mascots? Do you feel like they make it more fake?
I think so. I feel like using mascots to teach. I mean, okay, the train one, okay, fine. Sometimes I still go into the train, people don't let me come out first before I go in,
Yeah.
right? That still happens, right? But something like the courtesy line to me is wild.
Why?
Because I feel like the way that courtesy is almost like we have moral education in school. The way that courtesy is taught in a very strange way. It's almost spoken about and not shown.
If you can find a better way to teach courtesy that doesn't involve a giant lion, I give it to you.
I mean, I don't think courtesy should even be taught.
It shouldn't be taught by the nation. You know what I mean?
At least choose something a bit more like Singaporean.
should be
Courtesy
just-
civet cat.
It's a lion!
That's true, yeah.
No, it should be just taught in schools, not as like a nationwide campaign.
Well, so you're saying because we teach people courtesy through a orange
National
lion,
campaign.
then ergo we are fake.
The nature of it a bit like whack, no meh?
So can you imagine how rude Singaporeans would be without the courtesy lion?
That depends how effective you think the courtesy
I
lion
think
is.
there was a government study out there, right? That measured rudeness before lion, rudeness after lion.
Confirm
to
have,
Compare
confirm
and
have.
contrast.
We're gonna dig it up.
Okay, our next episode we'll
Department.
bring you the results.
We're gonna bring you the
stats.
results.
Okay, I have a question.
What?
Do you think Racial Harmony Day is fake?
Yes.
Yes.
Fake, right? That one is fake, right?
The whole. Oh, sorry, it's Alicia's favorite day in school.
Oh no!
What do you think?
Oh yeah, you bought a kabaya for me.
She wore a kabaya to school and all.
I don't know. What do you mean fake?
Like, it's very curated. Like, it's just one day wear. And I mean, when I was growing up, it's always referred to, my kurta is always referred to as my costume, right? Like, everyone just bring their costumes, to school, like macam superhero like that, to wear with my muruku throwing powers, like my muruku and my kurta. Like, it's fake. I think there's a facade about it, you know? I feel like it's not genuine.
But
How else can they teach racial
yeah,
harmony?
but like it's
With
an
a giant
effort.
purple lion.
Another mascot
With
for
our racial harmony line.
Racial harmony line.
Fred has a missed opportunity.
What?
Fred, we're not capitalizing on the lion.
lions.
Lion
Yeah.
mascots. I mean, when I was teaching in preschool, I thought that Racial Harmony Day was not fake. Like, I thought it was good. I thought it was important for kids to have a day to be proud of where they came from. And I don't think at that age, at least in preschool, that they're really thinking like, oh, is this fake?
But
Am
I don't
wearing
think it fosters that. I don't think the way that Racial Harmony Day is designed is for you to actually appreciate that. It's for you to look at different things, try different food, and play different game.
There's an element of that that fosters that. Like
think
trying
so?
other people's food. If you've not had an opportunity to try another culture's food before and that's your one opportunity, then you try it and you're like, oh, that's not bad. You're less likely to grow up to make fun of that food
I
or that
disagree.
culture.
I feel like, in fact, it actually exoticizes it even more because it's seen as this foreign thing that in one day of the year that you're getting to try. You know what I mean? It's this feeling of like,
So it's better to never try it?
or I think it needs to happen more organically lah.
So instead of racial
I feel like
harmony day,
parents need to bring their children to try other foods rather than having one day where it's like supermarket, go to the Malay counter, then you get to wear kebaya, you get to eat, play, like, you know, you get to eat like any kind of Malay snack, and then you go to eat Indian snack.
I was thinking back to when I was teaching in preschool and you were saying like, oh, it's just one day, right? But it's one day of racial harmony where the races come together. But then there's also like, oh, when it's Chinese New Year, then like everyone celebrates, you know, Chinese culture and there's the sharing of that. Or then when it's Deepavali, like all the kids come in their, as you said, like costume. Like even the kids that are outside of the culture will want to go buy something to wear because they want to like experience that culture for
that's
themselves.
Elisha's lived experience.
Question, what is Deepavali?
It's the
festival
celebration
of
of
lights.
lights.
And then why do we celebrate it?
To keep the evil
Rama
spirits
is-
away.
Yeah, they like used to come to the village and then they had to like put up the lights to.
See, I feel like everyone don't really know.
I know.
Right.
I just said the answer.
What?
To scare the bad spirits away.
Yeah lah, that's super basic right?
But it came from a story.
I mean, correct.
Rama
One
and
is correct.
Sita.
You know, which one when like Ravana died and everything. But a lot of people still think that Deepavali is Indian New Year.
I've
right?
never heard that.
I got a lot of people think that it's like the Indian New Year. It's our New Year.
My
That's
friend
a
texted
misconception,
Krish, Happy New Year, Krish.
Yeah, Happy New Year, yeah. So I feel like yes, there's that exposure, but nothing sticks. I feel like there's still a lot of Singaporeans that don't know a lot of things.
I mean, I don't know about Singaporeans in older generations, but like from having taught preschool in this current generation, like they had to watch a like half an hour YouTube video about the story of Deepavali. It was like animated and it was like told for kids. And like maybe it won't stick because they're 3 years old or 4 years old and they'll forget. But at least we're trying. And then maybe if they watch it every year or they'll remember parts of it, remember, you know, some of the important aspects of the celebration, then at least we are trying. And it's not just like, oh, the Indian kids will watch this and like educate them. It's like, no, everybody's gonna watch it because we're all celebrating together.
Maybe you're both right. Maybe like to a cynical adult, when you look at like, oh, racial harmony day, everyone wear costume, eat food. That's not racially harmonious, right? But to a kid who like never eat muruku in his life.
But it almost as if makes it feel like that culture or those people are summed up with what they wear and what they eat.
They're kids, it's basic.
I know, but I still get the apa nana, wombada after Racial Harmony Day happened. So I just feel like
I get it.
it's not I don't think it works. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not here to give the right model for how Racial Harmony Day works. I don't know. I'm not in government. I'm doing it on this podcast. I just told me.
So what is Racial Harmony Day for? Why is there SEP school still? Only Chinese people. So you talk about Racial Harmony Day, right? They wear their own...
the ethnic costumes.
Okay, in SEP schools, they're all Chinese, right? So they wear other people's costumes.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. I don't know how racial
I grew
harmony day
up-
works in schools that are.
That's why
don't
just now
have
I
a lot
couldn't
of-
really
yeah.
add because you were saying that like you wear like
Yeah.
okay.
In both my primary school and secondary school, got a lot of is a nice mix.
So my primary and secondary school, they're both SEP schools, and I felt like it was really fake because we're all Chinese people wearing other races' costumes, and the teachers don't correct that term. They just let us call it as costumes.
What's
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
correct-
don't
what's the
think that's
correct
good.
term?
I mean, it's clothes.
It's just clothes that they
Yeah,
wear.
it's clothes. It's what we. It's like I wear jeans and it's like, whoa, you're wearing the Western costume. It's like that, it's like it's not a costume.
And what's worse is they don't do it for races now. They just wear whatever they want, like Korean hanbok.
Huh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it has to be the CMIO.
No, like in SEP schools, all Chinese, right?
Yeah.
You got people
When
wearing
you in school.
yeah
Oh.
Korean hanbok. Cause my mother say very nice. Like then they just wear.
No lah, cannot be lah.
God, thank God, a kimono. Then I was like, that is CMIO. I never knew that.
It's
Technically
old,
it's old,
right?
That means can wear t-shirt and jeans also.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah.
It's the Western culture.
Yeah, actually, that's really crazy. Someone just show up with just like jeans and like.
And then say how it's part of the Western style now.
My classmate, she
Oh.
wore a dress, like a going out like normal dress.
Oh, then she says, oh.
She said it's cause
I mean, by that logic, I'm Indian and I'm wearing this, so maybe if I should just go in this, is I also. That's why I feel like it's detrimental because you're really making it like a thing.
Like a
You're
zoo.
making it more of a thing than it should be.
But doesn't that have to start in school, like making friends from other culture?
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think Racial Harmony Day is the thing that does that. I feel like it's an
Football
event.
does that better.
Football does do that.
Football probably does that better.
Football brings people together
Brings
100%.
together. Yeah, compared to like
Yeah.
Racial Harmony Day.
you know what else brings Singaporeans together? When a foreigner like
yeah.
talks crap about our country.
Yeah.
Oh wow, all the races come together.
Yeah.
Racial harmony.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually,
Get very defensive.
she's not wrong. The comments for the guy, the Romanian tourist one, people came quite.
People do get upset when
People get
when we talk
really,
about our
really
country
upset.
badly.
Yeah. But I think it's like, do you think it's because like for like the guy, he felt cheated? He felt like he was promised this like wonderful Asian
I mean, the guy's an idiot.
paradise.
Yeah, it's clearly a troll.
As in, the guy's an idiot. You also promise something. You're gonna see trash on the floor, right? You're gonna see parts of that country that are not squeaky clean.
But he feel cheated because he said the country smell like garbage. When we say we clean and green, how can we smell like
He
garbage?
smell like garbage. Bruh. My country smell great.
Do you think that tourists have a false impression of
Yes.
Singapore? I think they do,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a professor at university in the US, and when I told him I was from Singapore, he was like, oh, I went to Singapore once. Then he told the whole class that it was like Disneyland. Like it's clean and everyone's like happy and this and that. And I was like, huh? That's not where I'm from.
Orchard Towers can be a bit like Disneyland if you just shift your mindset a bit. You just shift your mindset just a little bit, right? It's a little bit like Disneyland.
Yeah, I got a lot of lights.
Did he say like what about Singapore made him feel like it's a
I think it's the cleanliness. Like because he kept saying like, oh, there's no litter, there's like trash cans, everyone puts the trash in the trash cans, everyone's like polite and they wait, like rule abiding, like just like kind of that, like I guess fake, because Disneyland's like pretty manufactured, right? It's like literally like a little fake town. So I do think like the perception of tourists in Singapore is very warped.
This is your professor, right?
Yeah.
From where?
Yeah, he came.
He's from the US.
He came to Singapore in like the 1980s.
Yeah, I don't know when he came. Yeah, I don't know when he
I mean,
came.
Singapore is clean though, right?
No,
We
according
can
to
all agree that it's clean.
no, according to my Romanian friend,
Yeah.
he says Singapore smells like garbage and the river's damn dirty. And
The river is dirty,
The
yeah.
rivers is dirty,
Yeah. But we sell ourselves as this. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a tourist, right? It's hard for me to take a tourist perspective. I think it's hard for all of us to take like a tourist perspective. But I do think that we are a lot of what we say we are. Efficient, generally clean, and we are technologically advanced. There's like a sense of modernity with our architecture and our buildings, like our jewels and everything like that. So I feel like it is not fake. I think the instances where it's fake is it's like any other country. You're gonna
Because
get-
you already built the definition of the fakeness is our identity into the equation, right?
I think that's a great final
Right.
thought.
Yeah, of course. If you're saying that like, oh, Singapore is inherently artificial, it is always gonna be chasing the new, and that is its authentic self,
Yeah.
then Singapore can never
No,
be
the
fake
idea
like
of
that.
fake marketing. By
Oh,
say,
like we
yeah,
bluff lah,
yeah, they were not. I
we
don't
say
think
that
we.
like this, we say that
Yeah,
like
I
that.
don't think we bluff in our marketing of ourselves.
So it's just one customer got bad
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. I think it's one customer got bad experience because generally I've never seen tourists really complain about Singapore. People that I've come in contact with.
I feel like the accessibility of Singapore being an English-speaking country in Asia, at least for like my American friends that have come to visit, has made it like a very pleasant tourist experience for them because they're not like overwhelmed by the fact that they don't speak the language or they can't read the signs. And so the fact that they can come and visit a country and feel like, oh, I'm not like constantly scared. It makes it like almost like a gateway into Asia because they can visit Singapore and like kind of get an introduction to Asian culture and then like give them the courage to visit other places.
Singapore the gateway drug of Southeast Asia. Like if you're like a fearful traveller, never been
outside the States.
Okay, you try Singapore first.
Yeah.
And then see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
I've had like quite a few American friends come visit me in Singapore and it was their first time ever leaving the States. And every single one of them, like 4 of them have come to visit me now, every single one of them said that if they got a job opportunity in Singapore, they would take it to move here because they loved it so much.
I think that we have an unparalleled efficiency.
Unparalleled efficiency.
I think we got the best train system in the world.
In the world?
Okay, I haven't been to a lot of
In the
places in the world,
world?
but I think we're up there. I think Singapore
I think we're up there
I
too.
vouch.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I agree.
How about Japan?
Japan, okay, I think Singapore same level as Japan. Come on, guys, you really are gonna argue about how great our trains are?
But Japan don't need to teach them to be polite and smile. We need singer lion. But Japan don't need.
I'm speaking about efficiency only. Yeah, happiness maybe not so up there. But Japan also not so up there, right? Happiness, right? The happiness index. But I think we are efficient and we are productive.
No, but I that's why I feel like it's not so much about like, it's not fake lah, it's just more like, okay, you know what I'm gonna say? I think it is. I think that very clean, sanitized, like Gardens by the Bay, Marina Bay Sands, that sort of look and feel, right? The kind that you get at like Changi Airport or T3, that's not very authentic Singaporean. You know what I mean? I feel like the grimy floors of a hawker center is a lot more Singaporean.
But I don't think the hawker center floors are grimy.
Have you not slipped before?
No.
Only at arcade for me.
I have slipped before, like, what are you?
No, but that's not a Singapore thing. Other nations are also like that.
Yeah, if you're saying the worst thing, the dirtiest thing about Singapore is the grimy floors of the hawker center, like I really just think our scale is warped. Like, oh, it's terrible. Oh, those hawker centers are so dirty. It's not that bad.
I'm not saying that it's filthy. I'm not saying that it's the dirtiest thing in the
It's
whole
just
world.
no Gardens by the Bay. It's not like MBS,
It's
which
not
is
like
what
pristine and like beautiful and like designed by some like French architect. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, but I do think that when it comes to this issue of like Chinatown and like Geylang and like Little India being dirtier than like Marina Bay Sands, right? Isn't it also because of the fact that like when you go to a clean place and the place is damn clean, you probably won't throw like litter anywhere. But if you go to a place that is like dirty already, then yeah, you're more inclined to just probably throw garbage around, right?
I don't really agree.
You don't litter.
I feel like Geylang is a lot of litter, right? But
Sure, it's the opposite.
no, it's like I can't bring myself to like why?
So in Marina Bay Sands, you just go.
And Marina Bay Sands, she's like, this
No.
place can throw rubbish.
No, I feel like Singaporeans are afraid of littering. There's this theory about how like there are bins around Singapore all the time that when you are overseas, you wait for a bin so you keep the trash in your pocket.
Oh, I do that.
It's like an ingrained thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think when the place is dirty, then you just throw. Yeah.
I think it's that Marina Bay Sands pays more people than Geylang does to pick up the litter. And that's why it's clear.
Yeah. And they are constantly cleaning
Yeah.
in MBS. Yeah.
And it depends where in MBS, right? Confirm you go like the smoking corner area of MBS, right? You got a lot of litter on the floor. Right?
Yeah.
It's like where in MBS that's cleaned more by people that are paid to clean.
Yeah.
So it's about a place having enough people being paid to clean lah.
Yeah, a place being more curated than the other,
Yeah.
right?
So it goes back to my original point lah. If you don't clean the place, then you can get to see its authentic self, right? Just how dirty. it
So
can
dirty
get.
is authentic.
Yeah.
To me,
Clean,
dirty.
inauthentic, dirty is authentic. So that guy actually saw the most authentic Singapore. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, is it we cheated him?
Yeah.
'Cause
this,
he was-
this is me. Oh. That's the Singapore.
It's like I felt like he was expecting a very nice and clean and green place, right? Then he came here and said, oh, the water is brown and muddy and everything. So I think he felt cheated. Because I feel like that's the most authentic Singapore there is. Because because it's not manicured, there's no cleaning. It just, the cleanliness of a location depends on how people treat it, how the residents there treat it.
It feels lived.
Yeah.
Feels
Like if you
lived.
go and eat, like if you go eat Hokkien mee at a store, right? If the store look damn like clean, look damn modern, I wouldn't think that the Hokkien mee will taste good. But if I go there and the wok is like, wow, old and charred lah, there's like some oil build-up
That's
like,
true,
at the corner, like starts to get like
But then on the
greasy.
grade it says like letter C or something.
Yeah, the grade is always a C.
So it's authentic.
Yeah, then the uncle, like, he wearing this shirt, he just dyed it down and changed for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
It's that same shirt.
Yeah. Like when I see the mamak use his hands to make the prata, right? Then I know it's going to be shook
What
prata.
else
You know, when
he
they
use other than
touch,
hands?
when they really like, sometimes they use gloves also.
Oh.
Yeah, they use the plastic, but when they really touch it, I feel like, prata.
Yeah, it feels real, right? It feels like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, have we got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Jeng. Xuan, would you like to go first?
I can go first.
You should have
Yeah,
been prepared.
I'm prepared. Okay, so I've decided that, yes, Singapore is fake, but we're all a little bit fake. And what's so terrible about that, right? Like, I'm a little bit fake, you guys probably a little bit fake, like a little bit curated, putting on our best selves. And I think that's great. I think it's fine. So I don't think we need to worry about it.
Okay.
My final thought is, are we as Singaporeans proud of our innovation?
Wow, that's a bit out of left field.
That's what I've been thinking. Are we proud?
Is that a final thought from the next episode?
No, it's from
Sounds
this.
a bit like it.
As we change and as we grow and as we evolve and we build new things, is there pride in any of us?
I get what you mean.
Yeah. Is there? Do we feel proud, or do we just feel like, oh, it's another new thing? Like, okay, yeah, I can bring my family, I can go with my friends, but is there a sense of pride?
Okay, I think sometimes I feel like a hypocrite because like I love the whole like Geylang, grimy and all that, but then I also love the convenience between the pot, jewel, rain, vortex, all that. But then I was thinking like, I think to me that is Singapore, like both end. So you keep certain places like that and it never changes, and then you constantly upgrade certain places. It's like I live in that kind of environment and I travel out to town and see what Singapore always upgrades. Then I enjoy that convenience. And then I come back home to the grimy place.
Oh, so sad, coming home to a grimy place.
But with character.
Yeah. Authentic.
Dirty and authentic.
That's my final thought. I think dirty Singapore, best Singapore.
I don't think you've been to dirty enough places. Yeah, I think so.
I shudder to think of your room.
When he says dirty, he's just thinking about the floor of the hotel. He's like, ooh,
He wants
dirty.
Dirty Singapore, best Singapore.
Can't sleep. You lie, you'll sleep.
I'm telling you, people got sleep before. I'm not the only one.
Bro, you all got sleep or not? Legit. No one in this room has slept on that. No, I got sleep also.
We do a poll in the comment. Right, comment down below.
Comment down below
if you've ever slipped.
On the MRT floor. Hey, MRT floor. Hawker Center floor.
MRT is always clean.
Yeah, MRT will never sleep. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching episode 2 of We Need to Talk. We'll see you at the next one. Drop a comment if you think Singapore's fake or any thoughts you have about Singapore being fake. You can share on us if you want, sure. Subscribe, share, and see you at the next one. Bye!